Hello everyone, and it's time to take a look at something a little different today. We're taking a look at World of Warcraft and the announcement that you can buy a token in-game, in the in-game cash shop in World of Warcraft. And it will be, you can redeem it for 30 days of game time. One of the things that, you know what you're thinking, what's unique about that? But the big thing that is going to be different is you can sell it for gold. So effectively you can sell game time for gold in World of Warcraft. It will be done on a separate auction house. It won't be on the main auction house in the game. It will be done on its own separate tab, and what's going to happen with it is you're going to, when you buy it, they haven't announced pricing yet, so I don't know how much it's going to cost. Well, a subscription is what, $15 a month, $15. So I imagine it will be slightly more. I imagine it won't be the same cost. It'll probably say $15 to $20, we'll say. I don't think it'll be significantly more than that, I would imagine. So if you buy your token and you list it for in-game gold, so effectively what Blizzard are doing is selling you gold for cash. Essentially, real cash shop money for gold. Now, you can argue the benefits and the the detractions for this all you want, but we're here to sort of take a look at this, and it's a very interesting system. Now, I'm aware that a lot of other games do this. WildStar has a system for this, and EVE Online also has a similar system, but it's interesting to see the WoW, which is the #1 market leader in terms of MMOs, implement this system and how successful it will be and how it will impact other MMOs going forward. Because if this is a success in World of Warcraft, you will see it in other MMOs. I guarantee it. It will be in games like SWTOR or Rift or something like that. I guarantee you they'll put something like that in there. If it's a success, if it makes money for them, then it will go into other MMOs. Certainly other MMOs will try it. We have mentioned WildStar, of course, and EVE Online as well uses a similar system. So when you buy your token, you're going to list it on the auction house, on the separate tab. Now, this will be controlled quite strictly by Blizzard. It will be a supply and demand thing, so there's going to be no undercutting of other players. So if someone lists it for 20,000 gold, then someone's not going to come along and list it for 10,000 gold, and then it just wipes the value out. No, it's going to be controlled, so it's going to have a kind of mean value that's going to be, and the value that you are quoted when you put it up is the value you are going to get, regardless if the marketplace shrinks. Like if it's put up for 30,000 gold, we'll say, and someone ends up buying it for 25,000 gold, you will receive 30,000 gold because it's the price that Blizzard has quoted you when you put it up. Obviously, this is going to fluctuate because it's a supply and demand algorithm it's going to use, so the marketplace will fluctuate. So it could lead to the potential situation where there are not enough buyers and too many sellers, which will drive the gold price down. The price that you get should be the same though as you, because again, whenever it's the price whenever you list it. Now, you can't relist a token when you buy it. If you buy your token for gold, you cannot then relist it on the auction house, so it becomes soul bound essentially, which is BOP in WoW, if you don't know what that is, if you've never played WoW before. So essentially that's what it will become. So you can't just buy it for gold, wait for the marketplace to pick up, I guess, wait for the market conditions to change, and then resell it again. You can't do that. You have to redeem it for the 30 days of game time. Now, who does this benefit? The question is, because we'll cover the positives and we'll cover the negatives. It benefits essentially if we break MMOs down into two different types of player. I know there's more, but if we look at the two different types of player, now there are those, the first type of player who we'll call the hardcore player, who maybe has a lot of free time. Maybe they're younger, or maybe they're students. They have a lot of free time, but they don't have a lot of IRL money. So basically what it allows them to do is pay for their subscription with their in-game gold, because if you've got a lot of free time, you know, you're going to be gold farming. There's people who, you know, you can do old raid content for gold, you can do play the auction house, you can do crafting. You know, there are many ways in World of Warcraft to earn gold. You can do, you know, dungeons, you've got what, 5 expansions worth of raids, old raid content to do. So there's plenty of methods, and there's also ways to farm gold, which we won't really go into here. So there's plenty of methods to buy gold, or to not buy gold, earn gold in game. So if you've got a lot of time, you know, and, you know, people with a lot of time tend to either work part-time or, like, be a student or, you know, be unemployed. So maybe not have as much IRL cash as those more casual people who we'll get to as the second group. Again, the more casual people who do have a full-time job, who can only play for maybe 1 to 2 hours a night because they come in from work, they're tired, they don't really want to do much, they just want to log in, do something for 1 to 2 hours. This second group, however, what they do have is disposable income, because if you're working full time, you've got more disposable income than someone who's not. So again, it will benefit both of them, because they can kind of, you know, they can buy the tokens, sell them, they can get their gold that they don't have time to earn in game, and the person with a lot of gold and not a lot of IRL cash can continue to subscribe. They can't unsubscribe because it's too expensive, because sometimes you have periods, sometimes you got bills to pay, and, you know, you gotta unsubscribe for a month or two to pay those bills. You know, paying the bills is more important. Keeping a roof over your head is more important than playing an MMO. Sometimes we all have that. So, you know, it's gonna benefit those people to have that system. It is a flexible system, you could argue. The other big benefit is that it is a good way of getting rid of gold sellers. Now, any MMO that I've ever played, they've always been a problem. Okay, every single MMO I have ever logged into, there has always been a problem with gold sellers. Some of them try to do things. WoW is no exception. You know, just stand in your garrison or go stand in a major city and you'll see the website, dodgy website, Honest Dave's gold website, won't steal your details, honest, you know. So essentially it's a very safe way. It's controlled by Blizzard, you know, who are a company who do have to subscribe to certain laws, certain retail laws, Sale of Goods Act here in the UK. So at least you're protected, you have that protection, and your account is protected as well. There's no chance of getting your account banned. So for those people who are already buying gold anyway for real money, this is a good system for them. It's a very safe system, because Blizzard know that people are doing this. They know that there wouldn't be a market, there wouldn't be people spamming chat every 5 minutes. You see this in every MMO. There's no MMO. I've never ever logged into an MMO where there hasn't been at least one person trying to sell you in-game currency. You know, it happens in every other game. So it's a good way, it's a good kind of proactive way to get rid of those people if you think about it. Now, the downside to this, we're going to cover now. The downside is that the value of gold drops dramatically, because there's all this gold flooding the marketplace, much like a gold seller, because the gold is being created out of nothing essentially. It's being created for real money. So that's what the problem with gold sellers are. So the problem is you might get gold devalued. Your gold will be worth less. So you may be having, you know, 30,000 gold. Suddenly everything has inflation now, so the auction prices shoot up. If everybody's getting 30 to 40,000 gold for the token, then you know, we might see inflation. We could see downward inflation maybe as well. If all depends on the demand as well. You might put your item up for 20,000 gold and it could not sell for a while. You know, maybe it'll not sell, because it will be based on whoever puts their token up first will get it sold first. It's going to be first come, first serve. So if you put token up and then someone else puts one up 2 minutes later, the person who buys the token for gold will get your token, and then someone else will get the next person's, and so forth. So it will depend on that, and the prices will go up and down, but the price that you are quoted will be the price you get. so at least it's not going to be with people undercutting. Because if you put this in the auction house, it would be cheap as hell and it wouldn't be worth it. So if you're only going to get maybe what 10k gold, is it going to be worth it? Is the question. So there's a lot of questions still to be answered. We don't know the pricing yet. We don't know the typical gold value because it is not available, but it is an interesting system. It's always interesting to see MMOs experiment with these systems. I mean, you could argue breaking the game economy might be a risk, but maybe it's a risk worth taking because it is going to take gold out of the economy as well as put gold in. So hopefully it works in a balanced way. You say hopefully because we don't really know yet. We don't really know until it goes live in the marketplace. I mean, it's always interesting to look at MMO economies. I like that aspect of MMOs, of how you break them. I mean, we came from SWTOR, and you're like, they basically ruined the in-game economy by having a slot machine that put out high-end crafting materials, or gave you the ability to buy high-end crafting materials very easily and very cheaply, and the slot machine ended up getting nerfed because of this, because it totally destroyed the crafting economy. Well, you could argue, some would say destroyed it. It made things a lot cheaper, certainly, in the crafting economy. So the crafters complained that their gold, their credits value in SWTOR, their gold, they weren't making as much gold, they weren't making as much profit. Well, they were making probably the same profit, but they weren't making as much margin, I guess, on the on their things because the materials were so cheap and they were so available, and they also increased the number of people actually participating in the economy. So I guess they didn't like that, so it did eventually get nerfed. Be interesting to see what effect it does have. I have been playing WoW lately. I did get my paladin to level 100. Finally, I did a few heroic dungeons. I did my silver medal in the proving grounds. Quite easy, really. Just interrupt the healer, essentially. And I did a few LFRs. So I started out level 100 the footage you're looking at is from a while, well, from a few days ago, actually. I just recorded a random dungeon run. Hopefully we're not doing too badly. Hopefully we're not getting killed or anything like that. I don't even remember what it is. I think it's Auchindoun. I think it's that. That's the one, normal mode. I think it was like level 97 or something when I did that. So don't judge the footage too harshly. My paladin's level 100 now. Did High Maul LFR as well. Had a go at that. Got a main hand out of it. Got a Warforged main hand. So had a pretty interesting, actually. So I had a go at it. I went from eye level 590 to eye level 624 in a day. It's not bad, actually, not too bad. Just by doing heroic dungeons, and I eventually got enough gear to do the High Maul LFR. And yeah, pretty interesting. Warlords of Draenor end game. I like my garrison. Incidentally, I did have 2 garrison followers hit level 100 before me, so you can tell where I spend most of my time in World of Warcraft. Not really a raider, to be honest. Not really a big raider in WoW. Raid mostly in SWTOR. I'm not raiding in 2 games. Not dedicated. I don't have that much free time to dedicate to raiding in 2 games, so I just kind of go around solo content, play around in my garrison, and, you know, do the occasional heroic dungeon and the occasional LFR. I'm just a casual player, but it'll be interesting to see what this does. I might have a look at this when it comes out, because, you know, Warlords is pretty decent, actually. I quite like it. The questing's a bit annoying, but the garrison stuff I like. Reminds me of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. So anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. And goodbye.
You did it here. This is not enough to thank you for your actions, but it is what we have to give. Now we can rebuild. We must rebuild. We will never allow our souls to fall to the Legion. You have done more